Great reduction.
What was his name?
Slight,
Bishop
Fred
Slight.
Slight. He was from Idaho.
What part of Idaho?
Huh?
That's a Bear Lake name. Do you know if he was from Bear Lake?
He was from Bear Lake area.
Okay.
My dad had their homestead at the mouth of Slight Canyon,
Yeah,
so has to be related.
that's where he was from. And when he was about 17 years old, on a trip to Los Angeles, his dad put him out on a street corner and said, "I'll be back for you." And he never came back. And Fred had to make his way as a teenager through life and in the streets of Los Angeles, homeless. And he had been a member of the church, and he got with a family and got active, the Willardson family, and got active and got employment eventually as an adult. And his employment was the building superintendent of the Quintard Hospital in San Diego, in which activity he was in charge of all the building, the furnace, the heating, the water, all the plumbing and everything. He was the man in charge, and that was his livelihood. He went to work every day in overalls, and when there were a bunch of people that moved to San Diego from Los Angeles who were had been in the Hollywood Board, which was famous with stars and movie people and high echelon. Our architect was from there. They couldn't accept Bishop Slight because of his overalls and his employment, and they made murmurings and so forth, but they did some damage. In fact, two of them that made murmurings, one was a Willardson fellow, and then one was one that had moved down from Los Angeles from the Hollywood Board, were called as bishop and one of his counselors, and they didn't know what to do, but Fred Slight knew what to do. He finished that building and it was ready to be dedicated, and they guys went on, "We don't know how you did that, how you got the finances," because they had to get out and raise a little bit of money too, and they didn't know how to do it. They were stumped. So Fred got a little ha 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 back at him.
Oh. So, Mother being Relief Society president, what did that entail for her? Was she able to drive a car? Was she able to get around?
She was never a licensed driver. We had an automatic transmission in that Pontiac, or it was a Oldsmobile. And she got a piece of a 2x6 block about that wide and put it right down by the accelerator where she could move her foot and put it onto the brake, and accelerate, move it back and forth, and there was no stopping her. She'd get that, she'd say, "Cease, honey, I've gotta have the car today. I've got a relief society meeting," or this and that. And so I'd walk to work. I could walk from where we lived. And so I'd walk to work, and she'd take the car and drive all over San Diego. Or the cannery, we had a tuna fish cannery, and very often the man that ran the cannery would call her up and say, "We've got a load of tuna fish dumped on the dock down where the fishing boats came in," and he said, "It's down there just sitting on the dock. You need to get a crew down there and get it hauled up to the cannery and can it." And she'd get an order like that, and she'd have to call Relief Society women to come and take care of the tuna fish. And some men who were able to work, and they'd get the tuna fish up the cannery, and then they'd have to clean the fish, clean out all the entrails and clean them up and cut them up ready for canning, putting them in the can, and then put them in the can, and Brother Crusher would then take the cans and process them and cook the tuna. That's what she would do.
Did she have a babysitter for the children?
The children, the two boys were in school.
Where they were in school, and so she was pregnant with me.
She wasn't yet.
Okay.
That came a year or so later.
Because there's 6 years between me and Brian,
Yeah.
so.
So that's how we did that. Then we had some friends that moved into the ward from Los Angeles, and he was involved with the local radio station, and so his wife was going to this doctor out in Alameda, and so they suggested that I take you out there, and he was an OB, and so we did, and he took care of you.
He took care of Mother.
Yeah, Mother, not you. Well,
He was taking care of me.
took care of you when you were born that night.
So
The rest is history.
what a great time for you both.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
During the time that we were, she was president of the society and I was in the bishopric, we were building that chapel and the Los Angeles temple was being built. And every month we signed up and committed ourselves to so much money, and we paid that out in a dinner. They'd have a dinner once a month that was a fundraiser for the chapel, and also another dinner, which is the fundraiser for the temple,
Wow.
ham dinners. I
Did the
never had-
Relief Society do that?
Huh?
Did the Relief Society do that?
No, the building committee did that, which was non-existent, that meant the bishopric. So it was a $20 commitment, you know, per couple. And we never missed an assignment on that.
Oh, it's amazing.
So we had to drum up business and get people, and it was hard because most of the married couples in the ward, their husbands were sailors, and they didn't have that kind of money, so it was hard getting people to even buy a head of lettuce to contribute to make a salad. It was hard. People didn't have money.
So your time in San Diego was, how long were you in San Diego, and then you decided to retire from the Navy there
Yeah.
and go back to school?
So my period of active duty was up in July. I've gotten a discharge paper someplace. And 1st of July, and I was out of there. We spent about 4 years in San Diego.
Happy time.
Yeah,
And then you went to BYU.
yeah.
And you got a house in,
Bought a house in Springville, right on the highway. And that was a worry because you were just a toddler, and one day you followed Jerry and Brian. They ran across the street, across the highway, to the root beer stand. There was an A&W root beer, where you first had your first root beer. And you took a gulp of that, and it